Hi, this is Cindy Logan. I'm one of the librarians at Hale Library. And if you didn't see the other video yet, I am the librarian that works with the athletic training program and most of the departments within the College of Health and Human Sciences. On this video, we're going to talk about citations more so than searching. The other video talked about searching and how to find your scholarly publications that you need to use in your pamphlets. In this one, we're going to talk more about citations and citing and that type of thing. As a review, over along the left-hand side here, under the Library Resources tab, you will get the link to the databases as well as to a guide. Both of them contain my contact information. At any time, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with your projects. And in fact, you will see me commenting on your assignments, your pamphlets, when it comes to article selection, as well as the APA citation information. But let's look at that right now. So here, talking about APA format. There's information here that you guys can read and go through. Know that here we're talking about in-text citations and your references page, both of those which you have to do. The paraphrasing and quoting you will have to do in your pamphlet, where you're taking information that you read about or got out of your articles, and you're putting that into your pamphlet, and also about citing your images, because of course you probably want some images in your pamphlet to make it interesting. So when we're talking about citing, and I'm going to talk about the text primarily for right now and not images for now. So I've got this document, and I will post this, or by the time you see this, this will be posted as well, helping you figure out what you need to cite and when you need to cite it. So if it's something that is common knowledge, and that's probably the biggest one, and that's part of the graph down here, is if it's something that your audience is already going to know. A very simplistic example is that of the average body temperature, 98.6. Everybody knows that. But knowing the temperature of a whirlpool for someone who has is recovering, let's say rehabbing from an ACL tear, that maybe, knowing the temperature of what the whirlpool needs to be at, that's not common knowledge. That's something you and your profession is going to know. So that would probably be something that you would need to cite. But let's take a look at this. So on the left, when should you cite? If you thought of it, then you don't need to worry about citing it if it's your own thought. However, if it's a thought that you got from an article that you read, so did you think of it? Was that your idea? Was that your result? No? Okay, then we go down. Is it common knowledge? Is everybody going to know it? Is something there? If yes, again, don't have to cite it. If not, then if it's not common knowledge, you're going to have to cite it. Okay, so what do you need to cite? Are you using the direct words from the article? Are you using word for word? Then you need to quote and cite it. You'll need to use quotation marks and include the page number on your in-text citation. Okay, if it's not someone else's words, but is it someone else's idea? Are they proposing a treatment or something that you like, but you're going to put it in your own words? It's still the idea of those authors, so you will need to cite it. If it's not someone else's ideas, which is pretty much taking it back around to that it was what you thought of, then you do not need to cite it. Here are some examples of common knowledge. These are more examples in a broad sense of things, not dealing with particular athletic training per se. So if we have something we need to cite and we need to put that into our pamphlet, if we have something we want to use and need to put that into our pamphlet, how do you incorporate that? That's one of the questions that I have. The bottom half of this handout here, the top part's not as important. Well, I'll post the whole thing, but I'm mainly working with step 2 and step 3. So when you want to talk about it, the X and the Y are examples of where you could put the authors. You have an article by Dr. Bernie Olson and Mrs. Jen Cook. So you will say like that first bullet point, according to Olson and Cook, and then in parentheses following that, you would put the publication year. If you're using a direct quote, you will include the page number on that. Or instead of according to, you could say Olson and Cook claim 2023 that all students do better when they talk to the librarian. Those examples of word are just introductory phrases that you can use. Sometimes students struggle with how do I put that information in there? Those are just some examples of how you can kind of phrase that. Very simple, but some of the phrasing that you can use in there. I talked a little bit before, we do use APA format. I am a stickler for APA format in that I want to teach you the correct way to use it. However, when we go to grade, we understand this is not an English class, and some of your future choices may not be to go on to grad school to write a thesis or a dissertation, you know, kind of thing. So we like to educate, but we're not say punitive. We're not going to punish you for not getting it, as long as you're making an attempt. There is another style out there is MLA. You may be used to that, but we use one called APA. Make an effort. Don't use MLA. Don't use one of the others. Stick with APA. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with this. It's something I know that I can share and help educate you at the same time. One of the things about knowing APA is proper formatting. So this particular example kind of tells you the order that things need to be in and things to look out for. It is kind of an in-class assignment we usually do. So it's got differing fonts in here, but I do want to just share with you that will kind of give you the hints. Title of the journal article, I'm sorry, the title of the article. Title of the article is about capitalization. That's one that usually catches people. And there's the title of the journal. And some things need to be in italics, and some things need to, you know, have periods after them. So making a good faith effort to try to do that. I now want to talk about images for a minute. So at the end of the last tutorial, I was talking about if the image teaches me something, it needs to be cited. If it is not educating me on anything, it doesn't need to be cited. And here is kind of my examples that I want to use. If you can see clear over here on the right-hand side, the heading, well, I'll click on it, you can see about it. It says NFL career duration after concussion. This is teaching me something. So this is an image that you would need to cite. Okay, let's say we're looking at poor Tua. He's had a lot. If we're just looking at this particular image of Tua on the emergency vehicle there, the cart taking him out, and probably an athletic trainer, this is not telling me anything other than he's probably hurt, which doesn't really tell me anything in particular about things. So if that kind of helps make that decision, if it's telling me something like it has this graph, it has the football on there, you may see some images with the concussions, something like this, perhaps, maybe where if there was information that was telling me about that particular area of the brain in the helmet, but this by itself is probably not really telling me a whole lot. There'd have to be some context for it. But anyway, just to give you an idea of what you do need to cite and what doesn't need to be cited, it's really on that educational standpoint of that. And then when you do your image citation, you do it much like the article information. I'm going to pull that one back up here. So you would have who the author or the creator of your image was, what year it was published, if you could tell, what was the name, maybe they named the image, and then you kind of like the title information would be broken down probably into a website. That's where I see most students get the website. And of course, there's no volume, issue, or page number with that. Again, make a good effort for it. Images are kind of hard to kind of do when they're not straightforward. I'm here to help you with that if you have questions. That's pretty much, I believe, all I wanted to say about citing things. Make sure you have to do it, especially if it's not common knowledge. If you use a direct quote word for word, make sure you use quotation marks and page numbers. If it's something you're paraphrasing, no quotation marks, no page numbers. And then, of course, the images, make sure you're citing them if they teach you something. And those need to be on your references page, including with the journal article that you use, your scholarly thing, and any other sources that you want to. You can use additional material, but you have to have at least that one scholarly source. You must cite it in the text as well as any images that you use. Please do reach out to me if you have any questions. I do check my email nights and weekends, so I'll be happy to help you, even on some off hours, not just Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And again, my contact information is located on both this guide here as well as on the databases page. And I am part of your Canvas class, so you can reach out to me via email from your Canvas class as well. Good luck, stay in touch, and have a great semester.